What is going on, y'all? Testing. 1, 2. What's going on? Testing. Hello, y'all. How's everything going? Hello.
How are you?
All good.
Hi, Ben. What's up?
All right. How's it going?
I'm good. Getting better.
That's good. That is good.
The flu. But hi, Jade. Today. Chapin, True Butter, Gunslinger. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we're just waiting everything out.
Okay.
How was your week?
Busy. Busy, but good. A lot of work.
Yeah. Hey.
My check. Can y'all hear me?
What's going on?
Let's see.
What's going on?
What's up? Uh-oh.
Doing good.
Got technical difficulties on my end. Let's see what we got going on.
Everybody's here.
Yep, we're here.
There we go.
Can
hear y'all. Carbon Q.
Thank you. Hi, BB.
Debonair, been shooting. What's up?
Yeah. What's going on? Black Poindexter. How's everything doing?
OG in the house, right? Sorry, that was.
Let me cut that down. That's me.
Okay. That's all good.
I'm doing good. I had an emergency. I don't know if y'all remember from last night. I didn't want to be like one of our compatriots, but I had to get some Palmers on myself. So because I didn't want to be Ashley Larry up on the podcast. So it's all good.
Everybody's like this.
He's around y'all crazy.
So everybody good? Carbon, you looking good?
Thank you. You should have seen me a week ago.
I don't know. It's rough. My son and his wife just got.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
So they're under the weather, and my oldest daughter, she's helping her brother out because they have my grandson and his son were born on exactly the same day in April. Wow. So she's watching them while they recover. So
okay.
Just throw those prayers up.
Yeah.
Hold them healing.
Well, we're getting down to facts. Today's topic is on the medical side of the house of Survival Saturday.
Yes, sir.
That area will be taking place with Black Poindexter.
Yes, sir. Over some medical stuff. It's always something that can be used and needs to be constantly kept up, keeping your skills up. We're always learning, just like in firearms. We're always learning. We're always practicing. We're always modifying our kit. So it's been an everyday process. I've been in healthcare longer than I care to remember, but I'm always learning something from everybody, from a lot of different people. This subject I wanted to go over because my fly family was asking about, splints and stuff like that. How do you handle some of those things? So I thought it might be appropriate to go over some of those things. Even for some of us, that's like basics. That's a huge basic. That's stuff that we all need to know, because more than likely we're going to run into some of those situations. I've broken my arm 2 or 3 times in my lifetime. Kids get out there, they get active, so we need to know how to protect and take care of some of those injuries that we have. And a lot of it is just basic, simple first aid, but we got to go over some of those things. So basically, I'll be going over that. We have the 3 C's of emergency care, and then we have the 3 P's of first aid. So the first thing on the 3 C's is going to be check. When you go into a situation, no matter what it is, you want to check not just the person being injured, but the surroundings. You always want to evaluate what you're walking into, what's going on. If it's, an injury on say a field with your kid, try to look around, see, okay, what happened? Was there something else external that caused this? So you get those facts, because someone may ask later, okay, how did this happen? Did you see it happen? Did you see, which way did the arm twist, or this and the other? What actions happened after that and before that? So you want to check around, look around. Also, if you're in a situation to where there was some type of outside force that harmed somebody, you want to make sure that thing's still not there, that person's still not there. So check your surroundings, check to see what's going on, and then make sure that it's safe for everybody. Diesel, there's only half of you there. Where's the other half?
How are you doing? I'll be right back.
Good, brother.
What's going on? How we doing?
Doing good.
It's good to see y'all, man. I ain't been able to catch y'all like I want to, but I finally got to catch one, so I'm going to stick around for a little bit. If that's okay with y'all, I'm sticking around.
Yeah. Who's going over the medical side of the house, man?
Okay, good. I'm just listening, man. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Poindexter.
What's up, Diesel? So, after we get that, check down, check everything, you're gathering information. This is all part of what we call triage. Is going down and checking, getting that information. Information is vital in everything. So, check it out, check the person, check the environment, check, what's going on. Then you want to call. You don't want to be there by yourself. You never want to be in a situation by yourself. So if somebody needs help, you want to make sure that you get people on the way, either to help you evacuate that person, help to take care of that person, or help to handle any other situations that may be going on. If you're in a field and you're taking fire, that's back to that check again. The brothers in North Florida Tactical are telling you, hey, if you're in a situation and you're taking fire or something's going on, okay, you're not going to be checking for a person's pulse. You're not going to be checking for this, that, and that. You're going to be trying to get that fire back to so you can be safe. Same thing in any other emergency situation. Check it and make sure you go with that, and then call for help so that they can get on the way. You may have resources that you may need. So call. If you're a first responder, call for additional responders and go from there and give them some of that information that you have. Hey, here's where I'm at. Let them know your location. Here's what's going on. Here's my name. Here's the situation. So they have at least some information when they begin rolling to the situation, so they can, prepare. Nobody likes to go get on the situation and be just cold. Okay, now because you're starting from first C again. You're checking. You're doing this. You're doing that, and you're doing that anyway. But it's good to have information and spread that information to other people. I don't know if you guys watch Active Self-Protection, but a lot of times, you see these officers and first responders, they get on the radio and they're just giving either useless information or no information at all, or they're giving it at the wrong time. They're taking fire and they're on the radio. You under fire. Stop. Handle that situation first. Okay, check that first and then go to the second C. Then you start calling in. So these C, you have to constantly reevaluate and go from there. So you call for that help and then you start giving care. Once those first 2 C's are okay, then you start giving care. You're focusing in on your patient. You're doing the things that are necessary. You're going through your supplies. Hey, do I have the ability to take care of that fully, or are these stopgap measures? And then again, you're triaging those first 2. You're checking, calling. So it's an active situation. You're always going through these. It's just not you check them once and then you're good, because the situation may deteriorate. Something may happen. So those are those 3 C's: the check, the situation, the person, the surroundings, the call, get help, give that relevant information, and then the care, actually getting to do what you need to do. So if it's, a situation where you need to put a splint on, you go ahead and you do that, or you need to stop the bleed, you go ahead and start doing that at the same time, going back to those first 3 C's. So those are those. Do we have any questions? Let's see, My Fly Family, is he in here? We're good. How you doing? What else do we got in here?
Billy.
What's up? Jay the Shooter in Jamaica, man. How you doing, man?
TJ.
What's up, Jay Shooter?
Whoa, Delray Dad.
Roll.
Hello, Santee.
T up in the house. Peace.
Yeah,
We got
Delray Dan. How's everything?
Yep. So those are those first 3 C's of emergency care. And again, they're constant. You're always going through all those checks, always triaging constantly. Because again, we'll keep teaching you those situations are dynamic. And then you got to go through the first 3 P's of first aid. So once we got those 3 C's down, we're going to go through the 3 P's. And those 3 P's are preserve life. The first thing you want to do, you always want to preserve life. That's what, we get into when we get into first aid or healthcare. You don't want, go out there. You get into it because you want to preserve life. A lot of people are out there and they realize that's something that they want to do and that they enjoy. So your first rule is to preserve life. You do everything that's necessary to do to preserve that life. So you start with your, airway. Make sure your airway is clear. If they can't breathe, you make sure you establish that airway. Circulation. If you have bleeds, active bleeds, arterial bleeds, you make sure you handle those situations appropriately. And we'll go, on other videos on how to do that. But you want to preserve life, and you're always, again, triaging these 3 P's. So to preserve life, you do the most important thing first. If somebody has a broken arm, but they have an active arterial bleed because they also fractured their leg and it, cut an artery or severed an artery, the bleed's more important because if they bleed out, it doesn't matter if their arm is broken or not. Right. And so you triage and evaluate those situations accordingly. So it's practice, it's education, it's, continually, adding things to your knowledge level so you can quickly evaluate and go and handle those situations. So preserve life. The second thing is to prevent deterioration. You go through your first steps. So you preserve life, you prevent deterioration. You've stabilized that person, you've stopped that active bleed, and then you want to make sure that you maintain that. So you want to make sure that they stay warm so they don't go into shock. If there's not a leg fracture or something like that, you want to elevate their feet. And the reason you don't elevate their feet, if there's especially a long bone fracture, is because fat embolisms, there's pockets of fat inside those bones. There's also, they can get a blood embolism. And if you elevate that leg, what does that do? It's higher than the heart. It's going to put it in that heart and that pulmonary vasculature, and that can be an instant death. I had a buddy who rode motorcycles, and that's how he ended up going. Not because he broke his leg, because he threw a fat embolism into his pulmonary artery, which blocked both the vessels that went to his heart, and there was nothing they can do. And that's instant. So, if you have those long bones broken in the leg, don't elevate those legs. And that's something, you learn as you go on. So, you want to preserve that life and prevent deterioration. So some of those basic steps. And then you want to promote recovery, keeping the patient calm, keeping yourself calm, because a lot of times that's a situation where if you don't have yourself under control, how are you going to help everybody else?
Oh, yeah.
The first thing.
So it's, we're active parts of this. Whenever you roll up on the scene, you're part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
Right.
So we want to be part of the solution. So promote recovery, do all those steps that are necessary to help the patient, feel better, decrease their level of pain, because pain in and of itself can cause issues, increase blood pressure, increase heart rate. If they're already bleeding and your heart rate's increased, they're bleeding out faster. So you want to do those things to calm them down. Talk to them, just be a real person. So get down there and say, hey, how you doing? I know this is stressful, just talk to them. So, and you're constantly, as you're doing this, you're triaging, you're going back through your first 3 C's and you're going through your 3 P's. So it's a constant situation. So a lot of times it looks like people aren't doing anything, but while you're talking to somebody, you're checking the pulse. So you're doing this, you're looking at, you're pressing on their finger for 5 seconds, then releasing to see if there's capillary refill. So you're doing things along the way, but you're still, evaluating and trying to keep the patient calm and assessing the situation. So those are 3 P's: preserve life, prevent deterioration, and promote recovery. So if you get those 3 C's down and you practice them and start building out your kit on how do I do that? How do I go back and make sure that, I know how to check a situation actively? If I see a house that's on fire, do I just run into the house it depends on the situation, but you want to check and make sure maybe there's a gas leak, there's other things going on. So, if there's, and then you want to be able to call, have your tools on you. If you don't have a phone or a communication device, or be able to grab somebody, hey, you call 911, or you get some help. So you have to actively take control of the situation. And that's one of the biggest things, being able to take control and go through these. I've seen more times than I can count the person that takes control and is calm really can help positively influence that outcome for the good. So, be that person. It doesn't take a whole lot, just taking control and being calm. That chills out a whole lot of bad situations, and then you just go from there. And a lot of it's instinctual. We know, the first thing you do when you hurt your arm, what do? You grab it. That's called, you're automatically splinting. And if I walk up into a situation, I see somebody doing this, I'm already that's an indicator on what I need. Hey, what happened? You start talking to them. So you go from there.
A lot of times too, guys, that in the situation, like if you're working on somebody and they see that you're worked up and stuff like that, they're gonna react to you. You know what I'm saying? If you're working on somebody and you look down at their leg and you're like, oh my God, what is that? Damn. Yeah, like that's gonna make them act a certain way. So it's they tell us, buddy aid, trauma aid, buddy aid, when in our training, always stay calm. And if your patient is trying to look down, make sure you just in a nonchalant way, push their head up. Don't let them look down at the situation down there, and keep calm, because they're going to react to how you react to their situation. So
that's huge, man. You just gave a diamond right there, because that influences that outcome. Keeping them calm, taking them aside. Don't walk up and just start freaking out, because again,
because you got first person on the scene. Yeah, he takes care of the situation. Second person makes sure the scene is clean and secure.
You secure it. So you got your backup. That's why you do that second C. You check, you call, get somebody rolling. Usually, hopefully you're there in pairs anyway. But if you happen to be up by yourself, get some help and start, getting people in. And like when we were out in Houston, people naturally came in and started doing what's next. So it's natural for human beings to try to help out, try to do the right thing. So you just gotta, maintain that.
Like my boy $2 said, make sure you got them M&Ms and all that stuff.
M&Ms.
Right. So I mean,
yeah. So those are three things of emergency that I like to go over. What are the 3 C's and the 3 P's, and just a lot of it's just common sense, and just maintaining a certain level of composure and readiness, being ready to act. Most of us, we're probably going to, on this podcast, going to be the first responders in any situations. We're going to be the ones that, people come to look to if something bad happens. And again, I can't count how many times I've been out in the world and rolled up on situations. It was in New Orleans, and our trolley got hit by a truck.
Wow.
It was like, okay, so the first thing I did, evaluated myself. I was there with my daughter. I was a single dad. Evaluated her. Everybody in the trolley okay? Then boom, go into triage mode for the driver. So it can happen. It happens all the time. So be that person on the spot. You can really help somebody.
And Black Poindexter, the 3 P's are preserve, prevent, and promote.
Yeah, preserve life, prevent deterioration, and promote recovery. So whatever is necessary to do those 3 things, you do that. And some of it's, instinctual. Some of it you may need to improvise and do some things. You may not have all those tools. So, if somebody's there, and they're in the rain, this, that, and the other, put your jacket over them. That helps to promote that recovery. It makes them more comfortable. It prevents that deterioration. You're keeping them warm. You're talking to them. Just touching somebody. That's a huge thing. Putting your hand on somebody's shoulder. Hey, you can't imagine how much of a positive effect. So that person knows, hey, I'm not out here by myself. Just simple things. Put your hand, hey, it's okay. Look at them. You're all right. My name's Robert, yada, yada. I'm here to help you. Help us on the way. Just little things like that. Even if you don't have any other first aid training, just being there and giving that human interaction goes a long way. And all of us can do that. All of us can be that person, until help actually gets there. Just be there to comfort that person. So that can prevent that deterioration, just because those endorphins can get fired up. So, okay, I'm not by myself, I can relax. And that helps to promote that recovery long term, because they can say, hey, when this happened to me, people are out there looking out for me. Say, hey, people aren't as bad as, people talk about. There's, people do care. So just little things go a long way, long term. I've had patients talk about come back, months later, hey, you don't know how much, you helped me in that situation, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, it's amazing. So that's just human interaction, human involvement goes a long way in helping somebody out. And that's all part of that first aid and caring and helping people out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good to know. Good information.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
What else do we got in here? Anybody else that we didn't say hi to?
Hey, Sharonda, Paige, RGG, Zach.
RGG, salute.
Yeah.
Zach up in the house.
TK. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it right. Yeah, I said TK.
I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I'm going to say it's so important to stay calm and always do assessments. Even if you're working on somebody, continue to listen to what's going on. My particular background is with multiple cases at one time. So you have to kind of triage and move to the next person, move to the next person.
Exactly.
Being calm is really important. I had one situation where one of the casualties was really, really bad off, and the entire clinic just focused on this person. It was life or death, and completely forgot about everybody else that was sitting there.
Yeah.
And these are doctors and nurses that were a part of the department, and you have to like kind of snap them out of it and be like, listen, there's other people here. I'm going to need somebody to start seeing these individuals. Send me a nurse, send me a doctor, send somebody, but we all can't focus on this one person.
Yeah.
Let the doctor work on that person. 2 nurses, I need people over here. And that's as a captain telling medical staff what to do. Because you kind of get caught up. It doesn't matter even if you know what you're doing. When you see somebody about to lose their life, you kind of forget about it or everything that's going on. You focus on that person. You'll come across things that are so gross, and you have to prepare yourself. Like when you're going to step into a situation, prepare for the worst, and just remain calm. Even in talk, like their whole intestine could be hanging out. You're gonna be like, "Hey, how you doing? What's your name? Listen, I'm here to help you, so I'm gonna need you to lay back, calm down." Even if you say stuff like, you have kids, how's your wife, whatever. Get them out the mindset of they're hurt, want something else, and just keep telling them, survival is the most important thing. You got to get back home to these kids, so I'm gonna need you to work with me.
Exactly.
Get easy, breathe, slow down. Everything that's going on, like they're gonna be at an adrenaline rush. Try to slow them down.
Trying to get them to calm down.
Right.
It's almost like you have to be outside of your body. It's hard to explain. It's like you're at a macro level. You're out.
Yeah.
You cannot are actually seeing the whole environment and situation.
Yeah.
And triage. You're seeing that picture, but still being able to do the thing that's right in front of you. It's a weird feeling, but you have to be in that space to be able to be the macro while you're in that moment and constantly triage and move and this and the other. But it's really important because, like Carbon said, I've seen people, like you said, get hyper focused on that one thing, and there's a bunch of other stuff around you that you need to handle as well. Otherwise, that situation can deteriorate. They need to be triaged and stopped. They either moved out of the area because it may be a dangerous situation or whatever. So it's a constant learning experience, and you have to be ready and prepared and understand that we all may have a part in something like that. You want to just be ready.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, there was one other thing I was going to go to next was we were talking about splinting and triage and stuff like that. Basically, we have a triangular bandage here. It's kind of big, kind of see it. It comes in a package like this. This is like simple first aid to put a sling on. We have 2 types of slings. We have an arm sling and an elevation sling. This is a simple triangle bandage that you can use. Many of you guys who are in Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Cub Scouts, stuff like that. The little thing you wear around your neck. That's a triangular bandage. This is it. Unfold it. So triangular bandage. And a lot of times you get situations to where you have a fracture of an arm extremity. You may have a clavicle injury. People, especially in car accidents, if their arms are extended like this and they brace themselves, sometimes that'll put pressure on that clavicle, and you'll see, bam, you'll have those injuries, and the person's just like walking around like this. So during your evaluation, you want to try to, look for those signs and symptoms, and automatically the first thing people do is this. And as soon as you see somebody do that, that's one of the things you do. But a triangular bandage goes a long way in helping to make that person more comfortable, keep them immobilized, and keep them in a safe position. So basically, you have this triangle bandage. What I usually start with it is the point down, the top of the pyramid. I'll put a little knot in that, just so like my point of reference. I'll take it and put a little knot in that. So that's where I know the elbow is going to always go. So I have that, just a simple knot right there. So if it's my left arm, I'll put that right there on the left side. I'll take this, and you could do this by yourself, on yourself, if you had it. So I'll take that, and I'll put a knot again right here. So right over left, a little square knot, and then left over right, if I remember from my Boy Scout days. And so you have that device right there. Mm-hmm. You put it, their elbow where the knot is. Here's my knot. Mm-hmm. I put the elbow there and put it over their head. And you don't want it, that knot on the side, on their neck. You don't want, because one, that's uncomfortable. Okay. You don't want it over here because you're occluding the carotid artery. So a little bit off to the side is where you want that knot to the side right here. So that knot's there. I have my elbow. There's my knot here, right? Mm-hmm. And then when you're putting it on a person, you want that arm supported so for an arm sling, you want it full coverage down to the pinky, so you can adjust it and have it there. And also you want to look at capillary refill. So if their arm is like this, stand up a little bit, you want to be able to push the end of their finger for like 10 seconds and then let go. Yeah. It should refill within 2 seconds. If you push on that finger and it turns white, and then you let go and it still stays white, and you don't get that pinkish color returning, that could let you know there's some vascular issues. But this is a simple sling right here. The way that you have it right now is considered an arm sling. You can make this tighter and do an elevated sling. So this would just be tighter. You could either take this and use the pins which are included with this, or you could just untie it and redo your knot. So an elevated arm sling in this position right here, basically it's like your hand over your high heart like this. If they have a bleed here, you want to keep that elevated above the level of the heart. Also for clavicle injuries, this is a good position to hold this in because it keeps them more comfortable, less movement. And so you would adjust it for that. And you can also put a splint on somebody first and then put their arm into this sling. So the triangular bandage has multiple uses. So just a basic sling like we have here, or you can use it for bandages and things of that nature. So
that's what we use on our uniforms in the Navy, those neckerchiefs.
Yeah, they have neckerchiefs in the Navy too. Yeah, that's another thing too. So triangular bandage is a simple thing. These things are dirt cheap. And you should have multiple of these in your kit. They don't cost anything. Go to the surplus store. I think these cost less than the thermal blankets, which are like 30 cents. So you can get these. These aren't even made out of cloth. They're like a nylon type material. So they're relatively inexpensive, but they're also very strong. And you can use it for multiple things besides that, including bandages and stuff like that. So, but today we just covered the arm sling versus the elevated sling. And again, elevated sling, your arm's going to be like in this position. So if you have bleeds, if you have a bleed on the extremity here, you want it to be above the level of the heart. The arm sling is more towards your heart level. So those are the two types of slings that you can put on somebody just to isolate that arm. And then I was going to show one other thing. They were asking about splints. This is a flexible, like foam splint that I keep in my bag. And I make it be used to multiple types of splint situations, whether it's an arm or forearm. You could put this on there, and this is flexible. So if I take it and basically form a little U in it, you can't see it on camera, off camera, but I can take it, fold it up into this type of position, and then put that on somebody's arm in there and tape it.
Yep.
Then you have a splint. You can do the same for a leg.
What is that?
This is just a foam splint. This is an actual
foam splint. Okay.
A splint. And the thing I like about this one is it basically, I don't know if you can see it, it has instructions on it on how to use it.
Gotcha.
So you can't see it. So you can take it and it tells you, hey, Okay, put it on the arm and make it into a U. Oh, a U, I know how to do that. Just go like that. So you just take it and form it just like that, and then you put it. Okay, it says now put it on their forearm, like this, and it says put tape on it. So you just go from there. So, and these can be used on legs as well as arms. You could actually turn it, take it, and wrap it. If you had a small, you can actually cut it, make smaller versions of this. So, or you can double it up, fold it over, and make it into different sizes and shapes, and it's readily configurable, and you can disinfect it and reuse it as well. So this is just one type of forearm or leg type splint. I think my fly family was asking about that. And these are very inexpensive, and again, the reason I like this, may not be able to see it well, but it has the instructions on how to do each one of those, whether it's the leg, arm, has the instructions on the actual device. So it comes in handy. And they do the same thing for the finger splint, which I thought I had here, but same thing for.
Would you get off of Amazon or something?
Yeah, they have these on Amazon. They have them, a couple other medical sites, but these I think are, I don't want to advertise for the company, but Lightning Company, they make a lot of good devices online that you can get relatively inexpensive, and they go in your kit. You can fold them up really small. And
what kit you prefer those in, your everyday carrier or your get home bag?
Well, that's in my heavy duty bag. I keep these in this bag here.
Oh, okay.
My medic bag. So that's to me, that's beyond every day. But I keep one of those if I'm out and about, like say when we're going to up to the shooting event. I'll have that in the back of my car, so I can go ahead and roll and have that ready at all times. So you can improvise with splint devices. Another thing I want to talk about too. I remember I talked about magazines. People don't read magazines anymore, but I have magazines around the house. You could take this. Say somebody fractured their wrist. Just take this, put that there. You're isolating the wrist. You're above. Say it's here. You're above and below it. Take it. Put some tape on it. That's a splint, and you're ready to go. Just
you can use bandage. You can use strips of a t-shirt or a handkerchief and just tie it to some string, just as long as it's secured. You can use just about anything.
So a lot of different things. So improvise. Use what you have around. It's always, there's advanced medical kit. Use what's around you. I always keep tape around. I keep ace bandages and several. So I do keep that. I've been shooting. You were talking about, do I keep those advanced things? But I always keep tape. I always keep, those ace bandages because they're easy to use and small. So you can, like you said, wrap those up and splint with those very, very easily. And they're light as well. So
they come in different sizes. So if you want to put one in your everyday bag, there's a smaller version to it. It all depends on what you want to carry.
Yeah.
And also in emergencies, a lot of people don't realize if you don't have time to get that tape, use your shoestrings. That's what we learned, grab them shoestrings.
This is more a finger splint. So again, same type of material. It's very flexible. It has instructions on there. So if I fractured a finger, somebody fractured a finger, you want to isolate that whole joint, not just say if it's fractured here, injured here. You want to keep them from moving that. So you go beyond the other joint. You basically just bend that.
I use popsicle sticks.
Popsicle sticks work extremely well. And just take that up, popsicle sticks. For the leg, a lot of times, if you don't have, since people can have fairly large legs, you can just tape the legs together. Tape the leg to the other leg, and you're good to go. So that's an automatic, unless both of them are broken. But if one's broken, you can splint one to the other one, and then that immobilizes it. So you got to be creative and innovative. Sometimes use what you have, what's available, but there's always ways to triage and treat people. So. And I'm sure you guys have tons of ways where you've run across situations where you've had to improvise. Use a shoestring, use your t-shirt, use your do-rag for a pressure button. You're going to use whatever you have. So
my question is, have you ever used a emergency trauma dressing?
Yeah, several times. I use those. Those are like your bread and butter. People talk about that. You have the abdominal pads. So I keep tons of those in my bag. I do keep those. Those come in handy. I think somebody talked about that though, like other stuff that you can use in your home. If you have, tampons, those are very, very absorbent. And they're basically just like the pressure abdominal bandages. You can put that over it. To use that triangular bandage, fold it up, towards and just tie that off. And that's an excellent pressure bandage, and you can use it on multiple locations. If there's a head or neck injury, a lot of times you can, isolate, even if there may be a neck injury, you can put a pressure pad over that on the one side and raise the opposite arm and then put tape around it. And that's how you can apply pressure to that, to where you may have to go and triage another part of that person. So a lot of times, or people, well, you can't put a tourniquet on their neck. True. Remember, never do that. Not put a tourniquet on it. But
says who? Says who? I'm just trying to save their life. That's all I'm trying to do.
Fail.
Yeah.
You have to be innovative and do those things. So I've had to do that before, where somebody had a carotid injury here, and I'm trying to put pressure, but they had an amputation on that I had to address as well. So it's like, okay, so isolate that, boom, go down to the next one. So it's, yeah.
You ever had to use a belt?
Never had to use a belt. Luckily, I've had everything I've had my tools and stuff with me. I try to keep my tools with me, but that's how they used to do in the old days. Use a belt, this, that, and the other. So you use what you have. That's why I like to have the belts that I have, because they can be used for multiple things. They're sturdy, durable, and so yeah, you never know.
Yeah, that's good to know. Good information, man. Good information.
Diesel, have you ever had to do any first aid out in the field, man?
All the time, man.
All the time.
Yeah, I've actually used a belt, but it was just a flesh wound. But I saw blood, so I was just like, "Hey, we gonna put this on here," But yeah, I've used a belt before, but I haven't had anything that was that I've had to actually deal with that was very, very gruesome, like loss of limb or something like that. Usually, fire EMS there before I can even do anything, So yeah, I haven't had to deal with that just by myself or anything like that.
So you've been on the scene where you just drove up and you the first guy there, and you had to react.
Yeah, I have done that before. That has happened before. If I drive up on a scene, any scene that I've driven up on, and 911 hasn't been called yet, it hasn't been a bad scene. Thank God, but it hasn't been a bad scene. Usually the bad ones I get called to are the ones that 911 calls me to. And fire and EMS are just as much en route as I am, and they usually get there either right after I get there or right before I get there. So it's one of those things, if I see fire EMS coming, I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all guys handle it.
So you're crowd control.
Yeah, I'm more crowd control. I don't have any kind of EMS or any kind of medical field training as other than the simple first aid that we go through. But as far as like everything that Black Poindexter's talking about and stuff like that, I've heard about that kind of stuff, but they don't push it on us like they do in the medical field. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just one of the things you learn once or twice in your career. I've been in the 18 years, and I can only remember one time learning about splinting and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was the one running around with the grease pencil and writing down the date and the time and what's going on.
Well, that's important. That's important too, though,
that's very important. But see, that's the kind of thing that we, like law enforcement, we don't deal with. There are very. I've met a few officers that have the cross training field of EMS and law enforcement, but you don't find that very often in law enforcement. So it's one of those things. Either you're in law enforcement or you're in EMS, but you don't find it very often that they're in both.
And Carbon, you had to have kind of both, right?
Yeah, it was an extensive EMS training. For our department, you either had EMS training outside of it or the military, and then when you came in, they kind of shoveled you around to wherever you were needed. But most of our stuff is we get training annually, several different types of training. So it's a little bit different because you're dealing with a lot of open wounds, cuts, punctured lungs. And it's sort of like a combat zone because sometimes you have to go in and get the person and they're still being attacked. Mm-hmm. So you got to kind of fight your way to get to the individual, drag them out and get them, to where they got to be. In the meantime, getting them to where they got to be, it's a long hallway or opposite side of the building. You got to still kind of keep them alive and keep them together, depending how bad the stabbing, slashing, whatever it was, even a simple melee or suicide attempt. There's so many different avenues where I work that you had to use medical training for something. medical training also deals with psychological, talking somebody down. Yeah, I've worked in with somebody hanging from his belt, and like he didn't want you to cut him down, so he's fighting as he's still trying to do that. So it's a physical thing. You have to remain calm, and you just gotta think really quick and be ready for just about anything. The slashings are the worst. Sometimes you'll just see a line, and then the skin will just open up. Then you'll see the white meat, and then it's just blood. Yeah, and you just gotta be like, hey, take your shirt off, put it on your face, keep your hand right here, because now he's just not the only one. It's another one running up to you, and they're like, oh, they got me, and you're like, oh, take your shirt off, and then you're trying to hand them off to somebody else, straight to the clinic, take them to the clinic, and by the time you're done, you're a hot mess. But at the end of the day, it's crazy. You just gotta kind of go with the flow, and you just gotta assess situations. You gotta look at it, who's worse, send him first, take this one after. The puncturing lungs are always the hardest because they can't breathe. And yeah, it's brutal. It's working up on it is brutal. It's hard sometimes to see, but you got to keep your head in the game, and then you got to also pay attention that they're not going to get you next.
Well, that's true, because again, you're assessing that situation, doing that first C, making sure it's safe. I would always do that. Ben, you said you've been in situations where you had to so you've been around that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, actually, we have accidents on the ship, on shore duty. We just, military personnel, when you start working, they really say safety, safety, safety. But when you're in that motion, people have to look where they're going, and they're not looking what they're doing, and just all over the place. And you just see some horrific stuff, man. I mean, I've been in the carry where one guy forgot to put the safety pin in the seat, and he ejected the seat while he was working on it.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah,
that's not good. Those are explosive.
Yeah.
Before
guy was working the ammunition shift, and he forgot. You time yourself when you put that tray in. You pull the tray back, but he's up there talking instead of the guy's hitting the other button. He just, just turn his hand into just brittle. Yeah, a lot of stuff like that. Not paying attention,
Yeah. So that's 4 different people. We see. We've all been in situations to where that first aid.
The worst is when they set the cells on fire with themselves in it.
Oh my goodness!
And then you have to open the door, go in there, and get them. Yeah.
I don't have to deal with that. I usually go after they're already. If somebody setting themselves on fire, we don't find out about it until they're already gone. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to deal with that kind of stuff. But I haven't had to deal with trying to put somebody out.
Burns get me. That's one thing. I could take pretty much anything else, but burns just get me.
Burn flesh, yeah.
You know what gets me? I can see a puncture wound. A person get 3rd-degree burns from liquid oxygen. All this stuff, but it never fazed me. Somebody gets a Beretta bite. And they don't, you're on that line, that gun, that person sitting there raising their hand up. You next thing you see
out
the bone right here.
Oh, a Beretta bite. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that slide comes back and open up your thumb to the bone.
Sometimes people do silly stuff. He set himself on fire, not himself, but his cell, because he wanted to get out of it. He was on 24-hour lockdown. So he set it on fire, but he was all the way to the back. So by the time, whatever he used, it spread really fast. So by the time we were able to get to him, his jumper was kind of like burnt to him. Because now you have to pry the door open to get to him, because in the fire, once the fire alarms go off, it kind of shuts everything down. So everything is now manual. So by the time he did all of that, he was like, man, I shouldn't have did that. Yeah, you shouldn't have did that. But all you could do is just like don your mask and grab a fire extinguisher, and then now you got to work on the door. So it's like, it's crazy. Yeah.
See, like what you dealt with, Carbon Q, being on an aircraft carrier back in the 80s. That's like where you worked at. You know what I'm saying? You had your cliques, your gangs. I've seen people get jugged in the child line.
Yeah. And the neck, lungs, like they can stand there and talk to you, and then somebody will just walk up and bang, that's it. And you just got to be like, okay, cover your face, cover your neck, let's go. Yeah, it's crazy.
I think the worst I've seen responding to a scene was young lady that, it was early too, had a boyfriend who was jealous, I guess, and he just came over and he had a butcher knife in his hand, and she apparently tried to run away, and he just boom through the head, both sides, butcher knife through it. We
Crazy.
rolled up on scene. He was in, so we had to get the police to get him first, and then it's like, we're like triaging her and everything. It's like that was probably like one of the worst because one was a young person, and it's
Did she
just like,
survive?
no, no, she didn't. It's like, we just basically secured everything where it was, wrapped it, transferred her back to the ER, and they did everything, did all the tests. She made it to ICU, and we did all the tests, and she was brain dead, and they ended up donating her organ. But yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. So
CPR is the worst for me.
I love CPR.
I do not like CPR. Like we had to call the gurney and you're on top, doing CPR. I hate doing CPR. It's so stressful for me. It's just like, because you think if you just stop for 1 minute, this is it for this person. So you're like stressed out. You're like, how long is this hallway? Like, I hate CPR.
It's crazy, like you say, when you're on the gurney and they're trying to roll them down.
Yeah.
You do
Usually they'll put the smallest person on the gurney.
Exactly.
Get it. It's like, oh man, but it's good to know it though, because you never know when you're gonna have to use that.
You never know. It's same with it if it's infant or a baby. There's different types of
no.
CPR that you have to do. Infants always got me too because you're
right
again seeing them go, and they go bad so quickly. They could be fine 1 second.
Yeah.
You just blink your eyes and they're so. Take a CPR course, people. Get in those. Those are free at most institutions, most places. They have, sign up to do that. Stop the bleed. That's free as well.
Yeah.
You get in there. The classes aren't that long. They're not asking you to be, a PhD. They're just asking you to give basic first aid and care. And that could be somebody in your family that you're saving, a friend that you're saving. So everybody, it's good, you guys watching these podcasts, we're watching these podcasts, but get out and get some training. North Florida Tactical, I got to get in that course. They have one on the 27th, but I'm on call. They're going to be in Houston, but I want to get in their course to get out there and get some of that practical, tactical training in the field, being the shooting and doing this, that, and the other. But get training, people. Get out there and do it. I was talking about Narcan. I went to the pharmacist, and they were really, really helpful. They're talking about how some of your HMAs, they'll pay for that if you go get a prescription from your physician, or you can also go into these pharmacies. I went to Walgreens and talked to the pharmacist there, and said, a lot of people aren't talking about that, but he wishes, they would. You can pay for it over the counter. You can get it. I think it's $130 to $160 for the Narcan, or they can get it free if you go to your physician and say, hey, this is the situation, I'm trying, and that's what I told them. I'm saying, I'm trying to build out my, med kit. How can I get Narcan? Here's how you do it. Go to your physician, yada, yada, yada. So get those things, because you never know with especially with fentanyl being so prevalent out there, and you see people just go just like that from exposure to that. You may have family members that are using drugs. They may not know that that's in that drug. So get out there and get those things in your toolkit. It's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. So.
Speaking of Narcan, I just spoke to True Butter. You know what it is? True Butter? Okay, she's sending a couple of those our way. So I'm going to send you a case. I'm going to send RGG a case. I'm going to send you a case, and then we could just give it away to the community.
Yeah, it's good to have. It's good to have
very good stuff to have.
That part of your toolkit.
You just one thing about the Narcan, what I want you guys to be very aware about is if you're dealing with somebody that's using and you have Narcan, just be careful of how you handle them, because some of the residue can still be on them. I've had an officer that got exposed by trying to administer Narcan. He got exposed to fentanyl. We had to give him Narcan. So just be careful of how you handle them, and be careful of the residue that might be still on them from what they used and all that stuff too.
Yeah, because that's real. Because that's my concern. Because my daughter, she has her ex. He was into all that, and he could have some of that, like you said, on his clothes, and then he walks in and the kid. And
right.
So that's real. That's real, 100%. So don't think it can't happen to you, or only happens. It can very easily.
It's real,
happen.
man. It's real. I've seen it happen too many times to bystanders.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a real thing.
Yeah.
You gotta definitely know your equipment in your medical bag before you use it.
And we don't, you know, of course, we're not medical professionals, we're not physicians. So our disclaimer is get out there, do your research. We're not going to get out there and get that information, but just be educated, be ready.
Yeah, and make the first aid bag your bag, not
Your
just
bag.
grab it from the store and you don't have a clue with the rest of the stuff up. Do your research, homework.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. Definitely. And medical bags are different now. You gotta have like a gas mask. You have to have a biohazard suit inside there. So many things are going on in the world, contagious things like that. So like when you come up on a scene, you really just gotta protect yourself as best as you can before you even, if you know, before going in. Sometimes you're just going in blind. There's plenty of times where I've stopped a facial bleed and I didn't have time to get gloves on. Or the gloves that I had on weren't latex gloves. They were your everyday working gloves.
Yeah.
So try to protect yourself. It's a lot of stuff out there. And you can't help anybody if you get sick. So
and that's the thing. The first P is preserve life. The first life is yours.
I see that comment that TK made a comment that Narcan comes in handy. It's a lifesaver. I know have you guys seen Narcan actually been used?
Yeah.
Like I've seen somebody that was flatlined and came back from Narcan. Like and then they get up and walk away like it's like they refuse to get on the ambulance and they walk away like nothing happened.
But the thing is, that only lasts for so long. That's only going to get them to their next step. So you need to get them to a healthcare facility because after about 15 minutes, what if that dosage was high enough to make them stop breathing the first time?
It's probably going to be high enough.
They're going to stop breathing again about 15 minutes from there. So it's serious, man. You got to take it seriously, people, because that's not a joke. They showed that one police officer that was in San Diego. He was testing, and boom, boom, boom. Luckily, his partner was there, and like you said, he must have got exposed to it. He literally, you saw it on the camera. His eyes just like boom and bam, face down on the ground. His partner was like boom, immediately went to the kit, boom, say, "I got you, partner. I got you, buddy. I got you. Boom, boom, gave him the shot, and the guy came back, but he would have been
gone.
toast. He was gone. So it's serious, man. So shout out to the police officers out there dealing with that stuff every day and first responders because their lives are in danger just out there trying to do their job every day.
And make sure you know how to use that stuff too. Also,
don't just buy it and leave it in your bag. Just I go through my bag. Okay, what is this? And I'm opening up stuff like I opened up that. I have to buy another one, but practice using it. Doing that same with the tourniquets and this. Know your equipment. Know your equipment. It's just like firearms. You don't buy a weapon and just never shoot it.
Right. I hope not.
You'd be amazed.
Yeah. So it's a continuum, and that's what's exciting and fun for me because it always gives you something to train on, practice on, get better at. You're never there 100%. You're always moving towards perfection. You never perfect anything. That's true. Kind of like a life lesson.
Because I go back and check my bags and I'd be like, wait a minute, why did I put this here? But at the time, it seemed right.
It seemed right.
Good. But then you're like, okay, I don't need this. Yeah. But I do have my tourniquets.
You got to have your tourniquets, man. Always, always. You got to always have them nearby and know how to use them. So we're going to do some things on those tourniquets because that's a super simple potential life-saving tool that you have to know how to use. You never know. Car accidents, people, it's not just getting shot, car accidents, crushing injuries to where, somebody's bleeding this and the other, or, amputate. It's I've seen it. It happens. So, if you roll up on something, hey, you could be, save somebody's life very easily. Yeah. Save your own life.
That's so true.
Have it nearby. Know how to put one on yourself. What are you going to do if you're out by yourself and you get in a car accident and something like that happens? You got to be prepared. Practice it. Can you get that tourniquet on in 30 seconds of help?
Now, the hardest thing a lot of people really don't know, self-administration.
Yeah.
That's what, I would like to go over sometimes, how to administrate this stuff on you, when you by yourself.
Yeah. That's why, I show with the splint, practicing on yourself, practicing on those things. And then, that's the first step in learning on yourself and then on others. So,
TK, come on. You should come on.
Very good.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm up in here.
Yeah.
Give that information, especially in New Orleans.
You
know they're seeing.
Oh boy, you know they rock
a lot. She's gonna be like a vet in a year, 6 months, right? 6 months. Vet.
You said a vet? Oh, you mean a vet?
Yeah, there's so much going on down
months,
there.
6 weeks, 6 days.
6 hours.
Yeah, you see everything. Man.
There's a lot of things out there that can make administered first aid so much easier. Instead of doing sutures, they have this like a stapler. You can just put it in, bang, 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 keep going. It comes with a little scissor to take it out whenever you have to, or if you need to. You can self-administer this to yourself if you have a wound, a wound that needs to be closed. It's just so much easier. I don't take it out the thing because it's sterile right now. But they're relatively cheap, and you can get like 2 or 3 throw it in your bag. They already come preloaded. So I think it's 55 staples in here right now. Yeah.
Pretty significant injury if that's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And instead of suturing, I should say, suturing a wound, you might not have the ability to keep a steady hand. With this, it's bang, 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 let's go. Next person, let's go. Try to look into different types of things that they have to make it easier once you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Gorilla glue that I always keep around.
It's amazing.
I think I have something
what's a good medical glue other than Gorilla Glue? Let's be,
You can buy the medical grade, but
yeah.
Okay.
If you're at the point where you need some glue, you probably ain't worried about if it's Gorilla.
Yeah. Making sure the crowd don't go out there and get some, I want to get quick cement. Dude up there plastering you up like a brick wall. What's that? Well, I didn't have a Gorilla Glue. I'm just using cement. No, hold
on. Actually,
it's been used before.
Yeah.
I have a great flashlight. You need to see what you're doing. You need to see what it is that you're working on. The person, their eyes, everything. If their lips are turning blue, have a good flashlight. Invest in them.
Carbonated like 4 or 5 things that are key, in doing your initial triage. Shining a light in somebody's eyes. You can tell it's either pupils or a little black portion. If it's like just fixed and dilated, like real big, that's typically not good. It should be reactionary. So if you have a bright light, you should see that pupil dilate and come back down. If it's not either drugs or injury, neurological injury, or something else is going on. So simple stuff like that. And like you said, being able to see a wound, okay, how deep is it? How far, does it go? Being able to have that light. So a simple flashlight goes a long, long, long way. So love that.
If your patient can talk to them first. Sometimes they may not be something like really bad. I had an officer pass out, and everybody's like going crazy. And I was like, listen, you take medication? And she was like, yeah. And I said, did you take it today? And she was like, yeah. No, she said, no, she didn't. So I said, okay. I said, blood pressure medication? She was like, yeah. I said, you have your vest on? She was like, yeah. She had the vest on so tight that she was sweating bullets. It was hot that day too. So, it was just a simple matter of like opening her shirt, opening up her vest, and just getting her some fresh air.
Restrictive airway.
Yeah.
We just saw that happen, unfortunately, in Houston, where everybody was being compressed. And if you can't expand your chest, you get suffocated. Gun in the hookah. What's up, brother?
Hey,
Gun in the hookah. What's going on?
What's going on, y'all? I need that good medical stuff, man. Did anybody bring up comms? Comms is definitely needed in medical stuff. You need to do a medevac or something.
Yeah, that's in part of our 3 C's. Check, call, and care.
Call.
Yes.
Gotta be able to call, folks.
That's my part of meds. That's it. Outside of basic, response, all that stuff, breathing, and all that. Yeah, but y'all killing it, man. I love it. I love listening to this stuff, man.
That's what we're here for, man.
Yeah, you got first responders all day. You got we got police, we got everybody on here, man. It's some good stuff, man. You know how to stop through and say what's up. Of
course. It's not without you. Yeah, but comms is important. I actually had to use a lot of comms. You got to clear the hallway. You got to get somebody on the elevator to bring it down before you get there. That is ready. You got to notify the clinic. You got to notify EMS, fire from your radio, depending on the situation. If the person has to get off the island like immediately to an actual hospital. So yeah, comms is very important.
That's about Flex Seal.
No, that
I
was
don't think we should use that though.
I've never used Flex
like,
Seal,
you know, when you run out of Gorilla Glue or something, you can get this.
Hey, I tell you, when you're trying to close up something real quick, keep infection out, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Have y'all ever been in a situation where y'all had to move a person out the way and administrate it because that person got there and just froze?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
The
or they're mishandling it. They're not freezing. They're doing the totally wrong thing. And
oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I definitely have to pull.
That happens a lot in law enforcement.
Sorry.
Putting the tourniquet on the airway.
I told you that's fail. Automatic fail.
It's automatic fail.
Yeah.
You fail, my friend.
I've seen it, man. I've really seen people move the corpsman out the way, and I'm looking like, hold on, go back, man. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Right. You're a paint coordinator.
Right. Somebody who's trained to do it, you're gonna push them out the way.
Hey, I've seen it, man.
I've had to do it myself.
In the service, you get those gun ho guys. Yeah, I can do it. No, dude, this is not paint. Let the corpsman do it.
That's that first P, preserve life. If you can't do what you're supposed to do, get out the way, let somebody else do it.
Everybody gun co until they see that blood and that broken bone. It get a little different there.
A lot of people out like they don't know what they're doing. Like, you know, this person knows what they're doing, but they'll see blood and it'll just get crazy.
Get squeamish.
Yeah,
I usually see it with rookies.
Yeah, the color drain. They'll just be like, "What?" Yeah.
Right. And Lord forbid you be on a gun range and this guy, they don't tell you to say on the range, okay, now if you had been drinking alcohol, do not shoot today. We'll send you back to your command and you can come back another day.
Right.
Oh, he come out there, next thing you know, he just blood all over the place. Yeah, he been drinking that. He got that slide bite.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Or you have somebody on the range catch a ricochet to the Kevlar?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I have.
You got them falling out at the Houston meet. Remember Ben shooting?
So you had
you hit that.
dehydration.
I still got that somewhere.
Dehydration. You had to stick somebody.
He's like, did I get shot? I'm like, yeah.
I was like, yeah, like this. Wait a minute, man.
I'm like, that's lead, man.
Yeah, sure was.
Wow,
somebody kept it going, though. We kept it going.
Yeah. Or someone catch a hot brass, shoot back at them. Yeah,
that's not good. Not good.
Not fun. No.
Yeah, we were just sitting there in that plate. I think the plate was at a certain angle.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, because you got those steel plates, you got to have them angled down. That's the best way to have them.
And I thought it was a mosquito. I was like, "Ooh, these Texas mosquitoes don't play." I was like, "Wait a minute."
You got tagged. Yeah, I caught hot brass. Somebody's hot brass shot up, ejected hard, and it caught me right in the side. I was like, "What the hell was that?" I was like, "Oh, it's hot brass."
Man, I think that didn't affect me, but catching a 9mm round down your shirt, man, you can't get that thing out.
Oh Lord,
that scares me more.
That hot brass ain't no joke, man.
When people react to it and they have the weapon in their hand and their finger on the trigger, that's what gets me. It's like, get burned. Don't get everybody else in their shot.
Everybody else
take that burn. Take that burn.
Guys just tear up the roofing.
Be like,
As a southpaw, I'm used to getting hit with hot.
You're left-handed?
I
didn't know that. Myself left-handed.
Oh God, put your arms on backwards.
Oh man, hey, I'm left-handed. Hold on now.
Right state of mind, brother. Right state of mind. Arms on backwards. Yeah, that hot brass ain't no joke, man.
It ain't no joke.
You get used to it. You know, I people like, oh my gosh, I get used to it. I got used to it over the years.
Man, I can't get used to no hot brass, boy. That thing.
I get used to it too. I just get burned, whatever.
Yeah, just keep it going.
Put some mallow on it afterwards, and just keep it moving.
That's it. I got a couple of marks.
Yeah, I got a couple here too. So I think that one right there is from. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy like that sometimes.
Yep.
You just don't think. Yeah, people go for the barrel. You're like, why you got his hands burnt?
He's holding on to the barrel.
Yeah.
No gloves.
I got a story. I was talking to a guy. They were doing JRTC, in the military. That's when they do that, down in Louisiana, Fort Polk. And they were doing some, fire exercise and stuff like that. And they had to jump. They had jump sights. So the guy grabbed the M60 by the barrel after it's been shot. Yeah. So he grabbed it and they ran. By the time he got to the spot, he put the gun down, but he couldn't his hand because the skin melted around the barrel. Yeah. So he was like,
he held on to it for that long.
Oh, did he? Because he was that boy.
You're in that sight, dog. I mean, I've been out there on the mount. Yeah. Dude on the 50 cal, and you got to change that barrel out in the heat of the moment. You out there turning that barrel, and you see guys like sitting there like, oh, let the barrel go get the other one. I can't. It's like,
it was adrenaline, right? So he didn't really pay attention until it was set down. He's like, damn. So, and he was one of them oofy guys, and the medic. He was like, he asked the medic, is it going to hurt? Because I got to, they got to get like oil or something like that to kind of reduce the amount of skin that's going to come off.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's like, is it going to hurt? And the medic said, pain is not the word to describe. No, he said hurt. He said it's going to hurt. He said hurt is not a word big enough to describe the pain you're about to feel.
We had guys really, it didn't stick. It just, let it go.
Oh, no, it stuck. Oh, he had to rip part of his palm off. Yeah. Ripped the skin off, and he's like, I thought you said it wasn't going to hurt. He's one of the big goofy country boys that could take all kinds of And he's like, no, I just said it hurt wasn't a big enough word.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. Yeah. Ripping skin off your hand.
Thank you. All those nerve endings. And,
And M14 that has that spring in there, and that thing is tension, and you pop that mug back, hit you in the chest.
Yeah. Medics have a warped sense of humor, I think.
Medics, definitely shout out to the medics, man. Yeah. And then we just saw that everybody's seen that one with Kentucky Ballistics when this 50 BMG blew up.
That was insane.
And he caught that piece chopped into his jugular. Man,
it's like he was blessed. He survived.
Look, if his dad wasn't out there and he didn't think about using his thumb,
he would have been gone. Because it was a 15-minute or 20-minute drive to the hospital with him.
He had his thumb jammed up in there as an instant tourniquet, right?
Yeah, you got it. Whatever you got.
I was in a 5-inch 54 on a ship, and we were 4, and we had a reblast where it didn't go forward, it came back inside the turret. Man, it's like 3 of us in there, man. And you got you talking about rock your button, bro.
Yeah.
And skip, boom, you just hear that whining like sideways like this.
Shout out to tinnitus. Shout out to tinnitus.
Man. And you young, you don't know what's going on. And
you'd be like, what?
Yeah. And they can't open the door because they got to depressurize it, so they telling you, oh man.
I just learned what that addition on the tanks with that middle portion where you have the expanded section. I just learned what that was for, to relieve that pressure, to allow it to go forward and not get that back pressure. Because if you allow the tanks, they have the barrel, they have that extended part. It's actually a mechanical device which holds that pressure and make sure it goes forward so you don't get that back pressure. I just learned that this week.
You see on the ship, you see the tank, the cannon and everything, but that back pressure, sometimes you get some bad ammunition. Wake up, you're coming out there like you've been in a chimney.
Especially you got like 30 millimeter and like 100, especially if you go to the howitzers, man, 110, 115 millimeter.
Captain can fire those.
You're talking about some serious knock, it's no joke, man. No joke. So definitely need medical experience.
Always.
Ears bleeding. Yeah, it can get rough.
That stuff will always go wrong.
Right.
Always something going to go wrong.
And make sure you get a medical kit, get some training. Look at Canada. Canada just got a really bad flood. It flooded out everything. Even there, I think it flooded out the transportation for them to get supplies.
Oh, wow.
They had 30 days of rain within 24 hours. If you follow Canadian Prepper, he'll explain the whole thing. There.
30 days of rain in 24 hours.
24 hours, and they're expecting more. So they're evacuating people. Some people don't want to leave.
Wow.
Water's like really high. Yeah.
Eastern Canada, where like St. Lawrence?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's north. Is it Vancouver? Somewhere out there.
Oh, okay, southwest. Oh wow.
Right above Washington
Yeah.
State.
Check out Canadian Prepper. He just dropped it today.
Really good channel.
Expect more rain.
Channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So supplies, if you're getting if we're getting supplies from Canada, we're not going to have it. They're not going to have it. That's causing people right now to go and stock up on everything. So they're like,
because you're talking about flooding. I don't have anything in my prep kit for flood.
It's also for me to get those boats that blow up.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, look at these floods that's going on."
Yeah, that's a good.
It's bananas. You need a life jacket. You need a flare gun. You know, if you have to go to the top of your roof and wait for somebody to come get you, the only way they're going to see you, and if water is rising in your apartment, you can't, or house, where else you going to?
I did pick up the flare rounds for my shotgun.
That's the ones I was looking for the other day, and I couldn't find them. But I remember we used to have those flare rounds for the shotgun.
Yeah, it took me a while to find them. I gotta see if I can find where I got those from. But yeah,
okay,
gotta have, because you never know. You may need it. You may need to get evacuated. You gotta let people know where you are. You know,
craziness. If I gotta get on my roof, it's a problem because my house is 30 feet tall. So if I gotta get on my roof, it's a problem.
It's a serious issue.
You know what I mean? So I hope we don't gotta get that. Yeah, 3-story out here. Yeah, it'd be rough.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I do believe you can use it on your shotgun as well.
Yeah, they do it at flag.
Yeah.
There you go.
This one that's right here.
Oh, okay.
It's a 12 gauge.
Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Okay, very good. That's it. That's the same way.
I don't know if I can show a flare gun on here. I don't want to.
Hey, you deal with it later, you know.
It's a flare gun. It comes with attached to it 4 flares. You load it through here, of course, that way. So the hammer strikes it. I don't know if you can see it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And you pull, of course, above your head.
You
Make
don't
sure
want to shoot it.
no trees, no electrical wires, anything like that. And you should wait till you see them a little bit off in the distance before you shoot it, to let them know, and then fire a second one after. And then you should have a light so that they can find you.
Always.
Whatever your location is.
Yep.
That's good, Carbon Q, because people really need to know that. I've been shooting for years, and he's aiming. No, just aim straight up.
Yes, aim up. This one is not straight ahead.
Yeah.
You aim at some dry brush and set the whole
Everything. You don't want to hit any electrical wires with it either. That'll start a whole other.
That's why I keep my spare phone that I don't use anymore. I keep that in there, keep that charged, because it has all those things. You can use it as a mirror, you can use it as a flashlight, you can use it as all that. So that's my backup device. Also has all my PDFs for all my maps and everything else on there. So that's inside my tactical vest that I keep all the time outside of my regular phone.
I just bought me a little the crank radios.
I love those. Yeah.
I bought one of these right here. It's got the flashlight.
Yeah, good job. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
One's back there.
Yep.
You gotta have it, man. You gotta.
Yeah, AM, FM. Yeah, it's a
And
nice.
they're not that expensive, right?
No, it's like $95.
So there's really no excuse not to have one.
Yeah.
So you got to do it, because you never know. Look, Canada's dealing with all that stuff right now. So you have 5 different devices right there, your flashlight, everything else, ready to go just in case, and an emergency radio.
Make sure you get those silicone desiccants, put them in your ammo cans.
Yeah.
Make sure the rubber gas stick has silicone, or use Vaseline around the gasket so it won't dry rot. Little things like that.
That's a good point. People don't realize you need to keep that petroleum on there so they don't dry out and you lose that seal. So it's all like we were talking about earlier. It's a constant, making sure you maintain and checking your stuff and going through it. You can't just put it aside and never, go back and check it out. So always working on it, man.
For sure. Kelvin, those people in Canada expect that type of rain. Am I breaking it? I don't know.
They gonna be dancing, Zach?
Like, you know how much rain that is?
That's an insane amount of rain.
30 days worth of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 hours.
I was like, that's a lot of damn rain. I was like, wow. But when they showed the pictures, they had the businesses and the water was all the way up to like
The
roofs. No, the roofs like of these businesses, and the people were in boats. They were coming to get them, rescue them. So it's like really crazy.
That's
Yeah,
something
it
you read about in
really
the
is
Bible.
strange. The way they made it is when you come in, it's so flat that
Right.
it's like it's weird. It's like, okay, yeah, if the flood hits here.
Even in San Antonio and the surrounding areas, they say they have these 500-year flood events, but so once every 500 years, we've had like 4 of them in the last 10 years. So it's obviously happening more frequently, you know, than
Exactly.
500
You
years.
got the global warming and all this stuff going on. So
That's not real.
Yeah,
Not real. It's
you don't
not
think global warming is real?
I think it's real. I'm just being, you know.
How about some people actually don't believe it though. Like, yeah,
I
so
know a
let's
lot
think
of
like,
people
okay,
who have
you know,
PhDs and
look at parts of Antarctica that used to be ice, and you starting to see land.
when you have a whole continent-sized ice shelf break off.
Oh, it's
Right.
a wrap.
How many diseases are in those ice?
That's
Yeah,
the thing. The
that's something
Russian
that-
tundra that have all these viruses and bacteria that have been
And
stagnant for millions of years. Now they're coming back into the environment. We don't know how they're going to react to human beings, animals, and stuff like that. It's like that's not a joke.
Stuff up.
World War Z.
Look at that smallpox thing, that weaponized smallpox.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff going on.
It happens, man.
So your medical kit needs to have a lot of updates.
Yeah.
New stuff added to it.
Unexpected.
Yeah, definitely.
I know the Devil Road. He's been up there.
Yeah.
He believes it. See, he's been there. See stuff drop off. See chunks of iceberg fall to the water.
See these polar bears on little islands of ice. They can't even swim far enough to get to the areas where they normally would hunt. They're just floating out in the middle of the ocean. What was ice before?
Right.
It's crazy.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the frequency. They're having to recalculate all those. In a lot of areas, like you said, in Canada. Look at that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Can't imagine that.
Yeah. When you see, if you go on his channel, you'll see he shows pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Canadian.
Yeah, that's an excellent channel. People check that out.
Everybody's safe, man.
Yeah, gotta prepare, man. That's why we here, man. Every Saturday we bring some, knowledge.
Gotta do it.
And help ourselves and help others.
Yeah.
Always.
Those ham radios, get them. We're gonna need them.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately.
We need those ham radios.
See? It's nasty out here.
That's crazy.
Swells, yeah.
Oh yeah, those swells could get huge too, man.
And I learned my lesson swimming out there. Had a swim call one time and I jumped off. I think I'm swimming. I'm steady going up. When I come back down, I'm still in the same spot. I was like, yeah, y'all can have the ocean.
Yeah, I used to surf, and that was the biggest thing. Getting out there is the hardest part. It's like
you get out in the ocean.
Swim like for 15 minutes, and finally just sit on your surfboard for like 20 minutes because you just
you swim about 50 yards up and come 50 yards back,
and you ain't moved. Yep.
Yeah.
No joke, man. Don't play with the ocean.
Tide is on or what?
Riptides, yeah, for real.
Yeah, you won't see this brother out in the ocean. I'm sorry.
I love the ocean, man. I love it.
No, sir.
Don't play with
I
it.
like watching it.
I was looking at Delray Dan, and he was like, he went shopping today, and he said they couldn't find rice, water. He said he bought something in the water for the 5 gallons, that whole unit.
Yeah.
And he went to return it because it was broken, and it was $60 more than what he had paid for. So inflation is bananas.
Open your eyes, people. I went to the store,
Walmart.
and then a friend went to a store, and every time I go there are more shelves with nothing on it. Every time. And like you said, those prices are going up every time. So this is not a joke, people. This is real. And I had somebody come to me and tell me that, hey, I know it's in the store that there's not a lot of empty shelves. I'm like, oh, really? Yeah.
And shout out to those who don't like to shop at Walmart. They'll like it in a couple of months.
Walmart is having a hard time getting
everybody's
things. Walmart, I talked to one of the people there. Walmart has changed the water section.
Yeah.
In a corner now. They used to have a whole water section. Now it's in a corner.
Yeah, they're rationing out things. And Delray Dan is in the affluent part of Florida. So if they're experiencing shortages,
we're in trouble.
Calabasas.
Well, it's out of Jacksonville. Yeah.
So yeah.
Get what you can get. Like, just get some.
Stay prepped up, people. Get ready.
Yeah.
Keep your supplies up.
Yep.
Food, canned foods. Make sure you get everything.
I got to get into canning. I got to do that. I've been watching a lot of canning stuff. I need to get. Forget the name of the canner that they recommended on Lead Farmer.
Oh, the MRE price has gone up, man.
Yeah, everything's going up. Yeah.
They're going up like pistols, man. I mean,
You get that
a
canning.
box of MREs, you can get to 2 Glocks.
I know Zach was talking about some of that, so I need to start canning some of that stuff.
Yeah.
That's what Zach put out right now.
I was in Kroger's last night and the price. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Every day you go in there, stuff right.
Yeah. So we gotta do a canning show. That's a good idea, Zach.
Yeah.
You need to do that. You gotta get on there.
Canning and getting your rice, stuff for your rice buckets, stuff for your rice and beans, dry goods. Yeah.
Yes, Zach.
Get
There
that.
we go.
Zach, do that because a lot of good information.
Dollar General.
Oh yeah, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, Dollar Store, any dollar place that people that you would, like I said, we saw it during the plague, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dollar Store, you ain't never seen people. I've known people that turn their nose up the dollar store.
Right.
I would never go there, and I go to the dollar store and I see them there.
Yeah.
Badgers.
Yeah.
That energy shifts when it's time for survival.
Right.
So,
Can't be no snob when it's trying to survive.
Yep.
For
So
sure.
you turn your nose turns down quick.
Lead Farmer has a lot of stuff, Sharonda. But we need to
work on that. We'll
Lead
get
Farmer,
that
he had something this week. He had like 2 shows
Yeah.
on canning, and he had the canners and stuff. And then his power, he was talking about how the power is going out. And I've been noticing that because I do internet monitoring and stuff like that, IT. And a lot of nationwide, there's a lot of instability in power and internet availability.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
And he was doing a show in the middle of it. He goes, yeah, my power's acting up in the middle of this, and boom, it went out. He just got his, generators, kept it rolling.
Yeah.
Over the last 2 weeks.
They're probably doing rolling blackouts too.
It's been crazy. It's
That's
been
why you
crazy.
need those ham radios.
It's been insane. It's like an increase. You see that uptick in that instability, in that power going down more often. It's something's going on, people. So you gotta be ready.
That's what happened back in 2002, 2003, when the Eastern Seaboard was pretty much wiped out. The power grid was not.
Right.
So that's
we talked about Texas. Last year we avoided a statewide power grid failure by minutes. And in the meantime, what have they done to improve the situation?
Nothing.
Nada.
Zero. They gave everybody a right to carry guns.
Yeah,
so everybody got happy about that. But the power grid?
Yep. Power grid was wiped out during the time that you guys had an unprecedented ice storm.
And we're in the same exact situation, potentially. No improvements.
And Diesel could tell you when it hits the fan.
Ooh.
And what?
Hey, listen, there ain't. Listen, you'll find out how understaffed law enforcement is when it hits the fan. You'll find out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, so be prepared.
Homestead Heart, that was the other one. Zach just said she has an excellent site. So I need to.
Who was it?
Homestead Heart.
Homestead Heart has one.
Oh my gosh, they got so much.
Pepper and Granny's pretty good too.
Yeah, so.
I do have the actual footage of Katrina.
Oh wow.
Katrina was nasty. Yeah, real nasty. Even years later, I was stationed here in Maryland when Katrina hit, and then I went down. I was down there during after Hurricane Charles, and I saw the damage it did in that area, in the Gulf Coast area. And then when I left months later, Katrina hit, and then I was down there for TDY about a month after that. And you could just see, a lot of floods and stuff. Areas still beat up, people relocated, and it was pretty nasty. And they still paid for it years later. They still were fixing stuff years later. So this stuff is not overnight fixes. This is damaging stuff. So you want to be prepared.
We got a lot of walk-ins. I've been noticing a lot of stores, people walking in and walking out with stuff. Items like, wait a minute, clothes and high-end stuff. Like
New York going on really.
San Francisco got hit. Louis Vuitton, Mom just walked in. A bunch of people walked in and just walked out. I was like,
it's the people that are not prepared. Those are the ones you're gonna have to worry about. Those are gonna be like your number one person to watch or people to watch.
Yeah,
because they're going to get desperate sooner or later, within 2 days, 3 days. And if they have kids, they're ugly out here.
You got to stay prepared, man. You got to be prepared. Even for those who don't prepare and like, I'm just going to go snatch it. You still want to prepare your people.
Yeah.
If they ain't got no food, they ain't going to have no energy to do any kind of work like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're going to do that, you still got to have something, some kind of rations and stuff like that, because it'd be one thing if, okay, we're going to hit these people, get their supplies. But if they're 6 miles away and you haven't acclimated yourself to footing it, and you have no water, no food, your energy that 6 miles can take you days, and you may lose people along the way. So if you had a plan to do that, and you had a certain amount of people that you're going to do that kind of plan, and those people get wiped out, now you got to readjust your plan. And then you may have to double and triple the work of the people you have left, and that can take you more energy. So your whole plan can be wiped out. You realize it.
Spiral,
You got to spread those 3 meals a day apart.
Yeah.
Spread them on out.
Right.
Think about it. If you take insulin, if you take any type of medication that you have to have all the time, be prepared. Have a stash. Do something that's going to stretch it out. Pay. Even if you have to pay it one time, just pay. If you can't afford it, pay for your medication, like a 3-month supply.
Oh, those ready meals things are through the roof now. They're like 4, 5, and 100.
Yeah.
For one bucket.
Even with those, make sure you have anti-diarrhea medication, Pepto-Bismol, because now you're going to be changing your diet to something that is foreign from what you normally eat, and you're going to go through some changes.
Yeah, that could be debilitating if you can't handle that situation. So have those things ready, and everybody's medications are different. So again, personalization of your medical supplies. You know what you need. You know what your family needs. You need to take those actions necessary to make sure you are prepared, because people aren't going to want to be giving up, their supplies and if they do, they're going to want, an arm and a leg just for the insulin that they have. Oh yeah, I'll give it to you, but you need to get me,
that barter system is going to be disgusting.
It's going to be crazy. So be ready. Just get ready.
And just think about the people who take medication to, calm down their behavior.
Yeah.
And they're off their meds now. That's crazy.
That's been a problem.
Yeah.
Just think about the people that are willing to take the medicine but can't take it.
Yeah.
We already have a problem with the people that's not willing to take the medicine.
Right.
But just think about the ones that can't. You know what I'm saying? That's just going to make the situation even worse.
I have a friend right now. He has 2 sons that have to take that ADHD medication, and he can't afford to get it for both of them. So he's having to give a partial dose to each one. Now he's to the point to where he can't, even afford that. And it's like, now you have these people go cold turkey off these kind of medications. Those have a lot of bad side effects going on. So now you're dealing with, double whammy, a triple whammy. It's like, it's going to be a mess. So get prepared. Yeah, it may cost you a little money now with the heartache and money and pain that you have to pay later. It's going to be a worthwhile investment. So bite that bullet now and just do it.
Yeah.
Ladies, get your, the stuff that you need. Women's bodies are different.
Yeah.
If you have, that time of the month, whatever you need to get that. Yeast infections, all of that things, urinary infections, thing that women just have to deal with, period. Sometimes it might be the medication that you're taking that causes that. Have that on deck, because I don't think you want to be stuck in the house.
Yeah.
Dealing with cranberry juice may be hard to find.
Yeah, it is now. Really.
Yeah. And if that happens, think about the insects, think about the rodents that's going to be running around here like they're crazy. Garbage is not going to get picked up.
Dogs.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to
procuring your food to make sure those vermin don't get into your food, because they want to eat too. So if you have your food stores, you got to protect those, especially if you don't have power. How are you going to secure those food stores from temperatures as well as other vermin? So you got to do all that, man. You got to think about it.
You have to eat the vermin that eat your food.
Right. I was watching a show. The lady was like, everybody's saying get non-GMO seeds, but she said also get some hybrid seeds, because hybrid seeds actually keeps certain insects,
bacteria,
away. And she goes alternate them with your non-GMO seeds, so you can have mixture of
More
both.
varied, yeah.
Right. Still have your non-GMO vegetables or, fruit, whatever, survive whatever it is.
So they're more resistant to different types of.
I thought that was interesting. So get it what you can.
Got to think
Yeah,
about it.
that's good to know because
Yeah.
our Walmart here has changed. I mean, I don't know if they're renovating or doing what, but they haven't left less shelves
Yeah.
of food now.
People are stocking up.
I've noticed, every store.
Yeah.
HEBs are a big store here, but like Walmart, more shelves are just empty. And it's like not during times where there's a lot of people in there, or I've gone multiple times and seeing more and more shelves. There just nothing's on them.
Yeah.
I used to get like my oatmeal cookies that I like.
Mhm.
All those shelves are gone. Or I haven't seen those in the store. There's a couple other things that I used to. They're just not there.
Yeah. They're now rationing what you can take out, like how many items you can buy.
Yep.
So, like, even if they have it, you can only get one of it. You might want to go with your kids and be like, "You're gonna stand on this line. You go stand on this line." But I'm laughing, but it's not funny. Yeah.
No,
So,
it's true. It's true. Because I've been in the store the other day. Food is getting less and more ammo is on the shelf now.
right.
Right. So they already know it's prepping. We know what time it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna jump off, get ready for this hookah jam session so we can have a little bit of fun.
Okay.
All right.
Y'all get done. Come holler.
I'll meet you over there, bro.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
Yeah, we'll be there.
be there.
Yeah.
I gotta make a quick run.
I'll be over there.
No problem. Hey, TK, you come on over to Shisha Shenanigans if you want to smoke and bring your hookah out, man. We could smoke some cigarettes, cigars, pipes, hookahs, and whatever else. I don't know. You do what you do. Nice. You got his sticks ready. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man.
Always.
I'll see y'all over there, and thank you for letting me come on and share.
Be good, bro.
Peace, bro.
All right, y'all be safe.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, peace.
All right, so I got to make a quick one. They just my water is in, so I'm trying to get. I haven't been able to get it for a while, so
Okay.
I'm about to
Yeah,
go.
we good.
The stock boy. I was like, listen, I just need you to keep like 5 of them for me. I'll be right there.
Get that. Get that.
So we're wrapping it up right now, y'all. And like I said, this Survival Saturday.
Diesel. Good to see you in the house, man.
Yeah, man. It's good to be. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I appreciate y'all letting me hang with y'all, man. Even though I didn't have much input, but I still.
You did, actually, yeah, you did.
Hey, you're always welcome, man.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good weekend.
You too.
Right, you too. Peace.
Everybody, have a good weekend.
Everybody take care.
All right, Poindexter.
Yes, sir. Be good.
Next Saturday. Y'all have a good one, y'all.